Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is Howson's Brew. Joining me today, we've got Casey, we've got Bewsh, and we've got Ryan. And we are going to be laughing like fuck at Arsenal today because another week goes by and Arsenal somehow seem to just... I mean, we're shit. Like, let's get out of the way, starters. We're shit, but Arsenal just seem to completely outshit us every single year that goes by, don't they? They told us they've got the best attack in world football. Pepe's coming in. He's banged in a couple of free kicks against Farmers. Definitely fucking arrived now. And then they have their captain telling their own fans to fuck off. I fucking love Arsenal. They take the heat off us so well, don't they?
I think the difference is, and this comes with the fan base as well, we can laugh at ourselves being shit, whereas Arsenal fans take themselves far too seriously, and if they have anything that goes against them, their will just fucking implodes. Like where we can sit there and go, oh, fucking hell, have a laugh about it.
Is that Northern and Southern thing, do you think?
Possibly. Yeah, they are a bit more on-edged, Southerners, aren't they, to be fair?
A bit more Southern than us.
But no, they are naturally a bit weird. Northerners are a lot more laid back, 100%.
So, Casey, give us the list then of all of the Arsenal captains that have absolutely just fucking embarrassed that Arsenal club. I mean, Van Persie was my favourite Arsenal captain, I'm going to say. I think that's easy to say.
I mean, that's easy. I mean, we've got William Gallas, who I'm pretty sure feigned injury, did not play. Fabregas won the title at Chelsea. After saying if you ever saw him in a Chelsea shirt, to shoot him. It's a great one. What else do we have? We have Granit Xhaka, obviously. We all know that one. Koscielny, who in the announcement video, after he forced a move away from the club, threw the Arsenal shirt on the ground.
Genius, that one was. That was a great announcement video. It was sensational.
Who else do we have? There's just too many to say. Arsenal have just got a Roman scale of just banter, isn't it? It's just a banter club. Like, you think the fact is, let me put it this way: people are talking more about Arsenal, and they're not the worst team in North London at the moment.
Yeah, that's very true.
That is very true. Spurs. Not even in the top half of the table. I mean, United, we're riding absolutely flying in 7th place at the moment. Like, don't touch us, no flies on us whatsoever. Yes, but yeah, best manager in the world. Poch, you have to get closer to that.
Yeah, yesterday, Roy Keane labelled Aurier and Danny Rose as dumb and dumber, didn't he, after the Liverpool game?
He really ripped into... I saw quite a few ripping into Dele Alli this weekend as well, I thought. So, the press got their new target now.
He's not been what you'd expect from him for a good season and a half now, Dele Alli. He had the season where he came in and scored, was it like 16 goals he scored from midfield in the league or something mental, and then from there
most of them from an Ericsson cross as well, just arriving back.
Yeah, and from there I don't think he kicked on at all, not one bit.
I mean, I've never really rated Dele Alli. I've never really liked him as a footballer. I've seen that that's obviously that moment of quality where he's like heads and bods style, just bang one in from distance and everything, but I've never seen him link well with the rest of the Tottenham team. I've never seen him link up play. He always seems to be that individual player. One of the things I always say about him is that whenever he gets the ball, he forgets there's about 20 other players on the pitch. He forgets that there's 10 players on his team or 9 players on his team he can pass to, and he forgets there's 10 players on the other team that'll try and tackle him. He just seems to accomplish.
That's a good point, though. Yeah,
he's a really naughty little shit as well. I don't like about it.
I would look at the stats, but I'm pretty sure the amount of times he loses the ball is ridiculous. He just seems to forget.
So United win at Norwich 3-1. We scored more than one goal. I don't see any United fans actually getting carried away with that, and I'm sure everyone will tell us that we're getting carried away with that. But I haven't actually seen one person getting giddy about that. I said in my preview beforehand, Norwich are shit. There's no two ways around this. Norwich are shit. Their centre halves are shit. They concede so many chances. They actually didn't park the bus as much as I thought they was going to be honest.
The fact is Norwich has gone that. At the start of the season, they don't seem to drop off. It's the fact that they are going for attacking football. They've been going out for attacking football against Liverpool. Didn't work, but they had some good chances. They went for attacking football against City and beat City. But they're not going to compromise on that fact, I don't think, even if they're losing.
Why did they beat City? I think sometimes you just be brave and put the ball in the right areas behind 6 fullbacks and you can create chances.
And City were a bit complacent because I remember Otamendi got caught off a goal kick, didn't he? And I guess that's why he doesn't start for Man City. He's just a bit useless.
He started 2 CDMs at centre back before. I think he's injured. But the fact is it seems like someone, I can't remember who it was. Someone put up a statistical thing and this is what happens when City can't foul a player on a break. It's like one was against Norwich and another one was the Wolves one. Where Traore just kept away from the centre.
But he's always done it, Pepe. Busquets did it at Barca.
And Wan did it.
Yeah.
I think he converted him from a right back into a DM.
It's a classic fucking. Even Jose did it to a point at Chelsea as well. With Matic, when he brought him back, was good at it. But I don't. It's one of them. But I half love it when someone on our team does it. Just shit house fouls, but when you get them getting against you, they're an absolute pain in the arse.
But that Guendouzi one.
It's just a Stonewall red card.
I can't believe that was only a yellow card. Yeah, let's just carry on about the Arsenal banter. There's going to be a theme for the whole fucking day this today. That was a joke. I mean, I was on the kick-off. I was sat next to Hugh Wizzy and I was telling him, like, Norwich are class away from home. I don't know why. And obviously, they turned us over, so I can't really take the piss out of Arsenal too much for that with Palace. But I was like, you got to watch out for these. And Arsenal pretty much had their full uninjured team out. Like, you know, they was a strong team. They was telling us, you know, they got that forward free out. Turney's playing. Like, this is it. I have no idea what the fuck Guendouzi thought he was doing, or how he got away with that free yellow card. You take a yellow card 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000 for that, wouldn't you? Oh my god, that was such a straight red. Why is that not a goal scoring opportunity?
Sahara flicks it over him and he just clean free one, and there was no one else at the back.
Absolutely gone. Why is because he's so far out from goal make any difference whatsoever?
I think it comes down to weak refereeing again, because that was like in the last minute of the game as well, when it lasts 2 minutes, and they never, for some reason, they never like sending people off with that amount of time. At the end of the day, a red card's a red card. They should just be giving it.
I think the fact is that there's no two ways about it. If Guendouzi doesn't take him out,
he's through.
Zaha's through. If Zaha's put it around him, Guendouzi doesn't have the pace on Zaha. It's always going to be a chance. And the fact is, it's not even the fact of, if he just clipped him, then maybe he could have been like, right, debatable yellow, but he full on goes for a high so
if Zaha got through and 1-on-1 and scored, you know, Palace would have been ahead of Arsenal in the league. So, you know,
Palace landing 6th.
Which is still ahead of us. Yeah. I think we've got an Arsenal fan in the comments here saying, let's all laugh when you can't even score from a spot kick. Didn't need to.
I've said it's an alpha male move. Like we gave Krul the confidence by letting him save 2 penalty kicks. And
you see Solskjaer's response? Never a penalty. Rashford did the honourable thing by missing it. That's the manager, so that's definitely what happened.
Krul was off his line twice, so wasn't he?
Tim Krul's a god at penalties. Yes. He's an absolute god at penalties.
I mean, he would have got it retaken in any other
I don't know
matches and stuff.
How he's been passed on by the likes of Brighton and Newcastle, but he's a mint goalie and he's showing it.
That save he made at 0-0 was unreal.
Yeah,
from the Martial header, point blank.
Well, before De Gea at Spurs and Heaton against United, he had the record for most shots saved in Premier game the way it's Spurs.
I think it's like
Newcastle
13.
Yeah, it's something pretty crazy like that.
I mean, the record this season is again. We're going back to North London. We'll take a tour around it. It's Tottenham. It's Gazaniga with 12 against Liverpool.
The thing is, though, Spurs should went 2 up because Son went round Allison.
Yeah,
they hit the woodwork a few times actually in that game. But Liverpool had their chances as well, as the keeper making so many saves indicates. Just because they didn't hit the woodwork, I don't think they hit the woodwork at least anyway. They thoroughly deserve that. I thought it was a good weekend of football, to be honest. There was a lot of really good play that we saw, aside from the absolute fucking raping of Southampton that happened on Friday night. Jesus.
Yeah, that was bad.
I feel sorry for Hasenhüttl because I think he's a genuinely good manager. I think the players were just a bit disgraceful.
If you were a Southampton fan there, at what goal would you walk out on?
I'd stay to the end. Yeah, I would stay to the end just for the fact to say, yeah, I was there at the end. Whether I wanted to be there at the end or not's a different thing. Mentally, I'd have been checking right out.
I think if you're still there past 5 at half time, you probably should
just go down to concourse and get leaded, wouldn't you?
Was it 3-0 they beat us at home?
Under Moyes.
Yeah. And I had a fucking best time at Old Trafford. I didn't see any of the goals because Jadon was taking a penalty at half time. They scored either side of half time, didn't they? Missed it. It was like in the back annals of the stadium, and then by the time the third one went in, he was, how old was he? When was it? 2013?
14, I think.
13, 14, wasn't it? So he was 6, 7, right? 6, I think he was. He had a signed ball, and he dropped it. So I bent down and pick it up as the third goal went in. But we never missed a beat singing 20 times Man United. Yeah. It was fucking class. It was absolutely rocking the place. And it didn't matter a jot. And sometimes I find this quite a lot with United, and maybe it's going back to the point you made right at the start of the show, is because we don't take it so fucking serious that we can have a laugh. Yeah. Because ultimately we've said this a few times, haven't we? Football is a voluntary hobby that we go and choose to enjoy. So if you're going out and losing your fucking mind over these defeats, You probably need a new.
It's not going to change anything, is it?
You need a new hobby.
What made me laugh is when it finished 9-0, Ipswich went and put a tweet out with Homer Simpson and Bart patting on the table, patting on the chair saying joy, wasn't it? So for God's sake.
It's funny. But yeah, I think United almost kind of revel in, if we're shit, we will like hide the fact that we're shit or try and cope with the fact that we're shit. Yeah, by being defiant and reveling in it a little bit. Yeah. You know, I've seen us in that Moyes season. We did a conger at Southampton away on the last day of the season. As a fuck you, this is the worst finish any of us have seen in 25 years. It's our fucking party. Like, that's what I love about United fans, is that defiance and that sort of sense of humour about all this lot. And I don't see that in North London mainly.
No, because North London is just, it's the two extremes. It's like they lose, get everyone out, burn the Emirates to the ground.
They win.
Like, we win.
That's all they do. They're like, oh, we didn't build the Emirates for us. And it's like, no, you built the Emirates because your club wants to be a commercial club as well. Do you know what I mean? You didn't. You know what it's about.
Oh, here we go. This absolute widge in the comments. Oh, I watch youth football and follow other divisions. Your academy is shit.
What's youth football?
Who do you support?
I think he's an Arsenal fan. There's a reason you're playing in the second division of the under-23s. Yeah, mate. Do you know the reason why we're playing in the second division of the under-23s? Because we loaned all our good players out, and what was left wasn't very good, and what was left in the team that got relegated no longer fucking plays here. Our under-18s is basically our under-23s now. We're a very, very young under-23 side because guess what, my mate? Nobody takes fucking under-18s or under-23s seriously.
It's about the progression. It's not about like.
It's about developing a player for the first team. It's not about winning stuff at 23 level.
When Warren Joyce was married, we loaned out that many players that we didn't have a striker and McTominay went as false 9. Yeah, that sort of shows
a lot. Yeah. That shows how, and we would not spend any money to bring someone in as a reinforcement, which I wanted us to do, to be honest, to help develop the players that are there. It's not about winning things at youth level. Like, what a stupid fucking comment. Our academy is shit. Okay, but the England squads are littered with Manchester United players.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell he's stretching.
Deluded banter Chester United. Wow, he was so witty coming up with that shit. I will have a debate if you want. I will banter your club if you... Please do. Please fucking try to do that.
We'll bring through Alex Award because he's JJ Cox relation member, so it's alright. Yeah.
When the Award came through, were they not spouting off that it was better than Rashford and Martial?
Yeah. I'd probably say Maitland Niles is better than Wan-Bissaka.
You know about that.
Okay, no.
I'd probably say Maitland Niles is better than Wan-Bissaka.
Let's see. How long till they mention Bukayo Saka or the new youngster that they've been playing?
What happened to like Iwobi? What happened to like everybody that they've had coming through?
Danielson.
I can't even remember the names of half of these fucking helmets that they've had that are coming through that are going to take us on. Where's your academy players, brother?
Kettle, are getting benched by Bamford at least.
Where's if you look at the generations of Manchester United players, Johnny Evans. Oh, you mean starting for a team in the academy? That wasn't good enough at United. Starting for someone in Leicester in a very good team. You've got players like Danny Drinkwater who were nowhere fucking near good enough for United, and Danny Simpson, Premier League winners. Thank you. Like, you've got so many. Like, our academy shit. You took our academy players in like Welbeck and that, mate. And there's even more than it up there, aren't they? Like random, just fucking hell. Honestly, Arsenal fans, you don't half make it easy. Oh, you have an under-18 playing for the under-23s, do you? And let me introduce you to somebody called Mason Greenwood, shall I? Who was when he made his debut, how old was he? He was an under-17, playing in the first team. Should we try that one? Should we start there?
It must be terrible having the players actually progress. It must be terrible.
We do know we're scraping the barrel when he's already gone onto the youth team. Like, I mean,
they've got nothing else to throw at the first team, so they've got to go right the way down.
Jesus Christ! United's academy is unparalleled in terms of bringing through players that since October 1937. We're about 15 games short of 4,000 consecutive matches with an academy product in the first team. When you can even fucking spell that, fucking come back.
I mean, if we want to go through our...
You had our Sanchez and Van Persie, mate.
I mean, Van Persie
won a league.
Must be hard winning the league.
You sold us your best player and he won the title with us. Yep, you had our pants down there, mate. I tell you what, yeah, fair play. You completely fucking done us there with that one, didn't you?
Yeah, mate. I've well back in Howson.
I mean, Sanchez, you took the guitar in off us as well. I mean, like we did get the wages, but
And Sanchez still scored against you to knock you out the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, what? I mean, let's
And he was shit for us.
I mean, do you want to go for like? Let's have a look at our transfer business, because our transfer business was Wan-Bissaka, very good player.
There you go. Saka's already played in the first team in the Prem. And let me introduce you to Brandon Williams, Jimmy Garner, Mason Greenwood, Angel Gomez, Taif Chong. Do you want me to carry on?
I mean,
Axel Tuanzebe, Timothy Bosu-Mensah. Oh, Marcus Rashford. McTominay. You forget he was even an academy player because the motherfucker starts week in, week out. You don't even think of him as
If
well.
it wasn't for Aubameyang's goals, Arsenal would be 19th in the league table.
He plays for him. You can't take that out. You can't say that. But yeah.
it was like, was it this? I mean,
Those alternative league tables.
Yeah, the alternative league tables, the Liverpool one.
If goals only counted from the 5th minute to the 82nd minute, we'd be top.
The best one I saw was that someone put the Liverpool one up. If we didn't count, like Liverpool were top, and then Arsenal fans replied, "It's like if we had goals only scored by Gabonese players, we'd be top."
Alternative league tables are mental, aren't they? Arsenal was always top of the January to January table or January to December table, but they absolutely crumble sometime around
February,
Christmas.
March,
Yeah, when the heat's on. But they.
It's normally when they drew Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and then it just all went to shit for them, wasn't it?
Christmas, you get proper sweaty fixtures, don't you? Because they're all right within a couple of days of each other, and if you don't win
Do Arsenal have to actually send Bayern Munich a Christmas card to Daddy every year? Do you have to do that? Because they definitely own them, don't they? Pereira. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Dance floor. Jesse Lingard. Jesus. Jesse Lingard owns your ground, mate.
I mean, their best youth player, I mean, did do a number on Tottenham, but he doesn't even play for him anymore. He they sent him out on loan to West Brom. Gnabry. Serge Gnabry. Sent him on loan to West Brom. Apparently wasn't good enough there. I didn't have the fitness.
And loving life at Bayern Munich.
And now he's loving life at Bayern Munich, scoring 4 against Tottenham.
Garner, Gomez, Greenwood, Williams, none of them have started in the EPL. Okay, but they have, mate. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, but Angel Gomez came on at 16 years of age in the Prem. I mean, it was a substitute appearance, mate, but yeah. Yeah, and Greenwood started, so yeah. I mean, I don't like classing Pogba as an academy player, but he technically is.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically is, yeah.
I'm like that.
You
Arsenal fans.
We just haven't pinched off us and paid Wonga fees to get him back.
Yeah. I honestly think there was something in the power struggle at United between Woodward and Fergie at board level. You know, Fergie piping up. Who can say anything to Fergie? Quite rightly, in the boardroom. Woodward goes and sanctions the signing of a world record player that we used to have. Then he gets to tell Fergie to shut up, you cost us 90 million. Which I don't agree with, but I think that might be a tactic that Woodward would look to employ.
Probably seems arrogant enough to do it, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Performance then of the weekend. Who impressed you?
I mean, I watched the game last night because I was at work while I was on TV, so I watched it when I got back. I thought McTominay was very good. I thought McTominay obviously took his goal well.
Yeah.
Didn't switch off, got the chance, shot, took the chance. Was very impressed by him. I was very impressed by Daniel James. That ball for the Rashford goal is just ridiculous. The link up between all three of them. Maguire wins it back. I think it gets it to Martial. Martial then does the hold up play, plays it off to Dan James. Dan James just curls it perfectly to Rashford. That was a brilliant goal. That whole move just was kind of summed up the performance. Everyone seemed to be linking up together, and everyone seemed to. The ball was always the ball needs to go forward, and the ball needs to get into the middle, and needs to get in front of the goal. And if we start playing like that in more games, then I can see us doing well from this point forward. But it's whether we manage to do that again, because that's the problem. It's not that we not having good performances; we're not building off the performances we have.
It was refreshing because we actually managed to play a good game, and we also won the game pretty comfortably, which I didn't expect. I thought we'd maybe start a bit slow as usual, and I thought Norwich would get on top of us early doors, but it never really happened. We just seemed, we got our blocks quickly. We could have probably scored 6 goals if Martial's header had gone in.
Both pens.
The save, and over 2 pens.
Also, Greenwood had a very good chance near the end.
Yeah, he should have put that away.
Well, we played really well, and it's very encouraging. It's very encouraging to see that we're creating more chances now, and it's nice to see all the front players link up, a bit of cohesion in the team. I was really happy with that performance. I'm Chelsea in the cup. Whatever happens, but I'm more focused on Saturday, Bournemouth in the league, because I think we obviously just need to start rising up the table now. That's the main priority for me.
I think even though we scored 3 goals, I think the most impressive player on that pitch for me was Wan-Bissaka. The guy's an absolute joke. I was a bit worried when he did get booked in. He was in the first half, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And because the amount of time he goes to ground as well, it's not worrying, but he's always more liable to pick up a yellow card. And to go to go through all of that game with not even a debatable another yellow card challenge.
He goes to ground as well, where you like
yes.
He probably should pick up way more yellow cards. I mean, that might be something that he has to keep an eye on as he slows down later in his career, but he seems to have the timing of going to ground.
Ridiculous.
Like flawless, isn't it? Absolutely.
You say if he can just improve that going forward in his game, being able to get around a man and whip a ball in.
What would you say about, someone tweeted me this yesterday, so I'm not taking credit for this initial idea, but the way he makes tackles and the way he stopped that counter-attack yesterday, was it from the corner? I think it was from the corner.
Yeah.
Could he not do a Kante-style role for us?
They could probably need
Kante's better on the ball,
but
we're deficient in so many fucking areas. Is it like, do we bring in Ethan Laird into the first team, who I think has got such a high ceiling? I love Brandon on the left, but I think the talent of Ethan Laird is probably 3 or 4 steps above what Brandon Williams can do. I think Brandon Williams is an effective first team player because he's not fucking roofed in right, and he doesn't care, and I think he isn't intimidated, and I think that comes out in a very tenacious performance, which is always welcome. But I think you get a totally asymmetrical back line if you throw in someone like Ethan Laird, who's probably not as strong defensively as Brandon is in terms of like one-on-one jockeying and positioning and stuff like that, maybe, but with the ball at his feet, he's a real asset going forward. Like, he'll go left of you, he'll go right of you, he'll score goals, he'll create goals, he'll make things happen in the final third, which Wan-Bissaka doesn't do. I've seen people suggest moving Wan-Bissaka to that right side centre half spot if we're going to play a back 3, and I like that. That's where he does most of his work anyway.
I thought he would going to play that for England when they called him up, because obviously they dropped Kyle Walker down and they brought Wan-Bissaka up, so I was pretty sure they were going to play him there until he got his back injury. But
what do you think about him in that Kante role? Because his footwork's tidy, he's just not good enough to be essentially like a wing back, which is a whole different skill set. Could Kante be a wing back? I don't know if he could. I don't think that suits his style of play.
To be fair, I mean, like, Kante's just on a different level, but if you brought Wan-Bissaka into that 6th position and had another 2 next to him, so essentially a midfield 3, he doesn't necessarily need to have like Zidane ability on the ball, because you just keep it simple.
Wan-Bissaka in alongside McTominay, whose job's just keeping it simple and helping out, and then someone with the ability of Pogba, or possibly an Eriksen, or maybe even a Maddison, somebody like that, where all he's got to do is find him and let him create and then reset and get back in position. Would you like that?
Yeah.
Could he do that?
Yeah, I think he could do it, and he's young enough in his career to still probably adapt to a new position. It's not like he's 24 and he's just set as a right back. He's still young enough to try something new.
That's it. I mean, I was chatting to someone about it this morning, and they said, why not try Axel there? I think Axel's a generational talent as a centre half.
I think he's played there a few times as well, Axel, under Mourinho.
And he's done well there, but I think long term you're looking at £100 million worth of centre half potentially, if he gets enough minutes in there in that position. There's deficiencies in his game which he is improving, but I see so many fantastic traits in Tuan Zabi that I would like to see.
He's been flawless this season every time I've seen him, like bar the mistake at Arsenal. Out of position.
Yeah,
bar that.
I mean, I think a fullback knows probably to turn up the line and just clear it, don't they? Whereas a centre half usually has somebody can go left and right to, and the keeper occasionally as well. So I think that's the differences in those different positions that people have to learn. And for me, as I said, I think I don't really like moving players out of position too much. Like, people are like, oh, can we play Lindelof centre mid? I'm like, but I actually think there's a lot of qualities in Wan-Bissaka that I would go against my own sort of mentality and do it.
I mean, the one player I'd say, and I would say this now looking back, sort of thing, and it was after a similar performance from a similar position, who could do it depending on whether his injuries saw himself out, is Fosu Mensah. Do you remember the Fosu-Mensah performance where he was at right back versus Tottenham? He did the exact same thing that Wan-Bissaka did, just defended across the line. Like, Kane would come in through the middle, Fosu-Mensah was there. Like, Son would come in from the left.
It was a sensational performance.
Like, it
was
was
0-0 till he went off.
And then he went off and was conceded 3 from Damian's side, who came on to replace him, like, exactly, like, in, like, quick succession. But the fact is I'm pretty sure Fosu-Mensah has played as a CDM a lot more. And if he was to come back in, maybe, I don't know how his injuries have, like, obviously affected him. But if you had him and Wan-Bissaka in a team and they just ran around like a...
Well, I'll tell you what, if you was going to play 4-2-3-1 and you've got to upgrade number 10, especially with a ball play. If you had a Maddison or a Fernandes or somebody with a bit of magic about them that could play that role, and you had two just fucking stone cold killers as your sixes, and all they've got to do is keep it simple. Now, both of them can drive with the ball, especially through the middle where there's a bit of space. They can definitely drive through the middle, and what Fosu-Mensah was so good at was that role, was the being the box to box, almost Brian Robson-ish in terms of, like, he didn't have the finishing of Brian Robson because that was a really underrated trait of his, but just that all action, I'm going to put myself in places there, I'm probably going to get injured, but fuck it, I'm doing it anyway. Just that didn't care for his own safety sort of recklessness, which somehow translates, like Rooney had it, like, do you know what I mean, just an absolute ball of hand grenade. Fosu-Mensah had that, but he also had a very good set of attributes as a footballer as well. Now, things have gone awry for him off the field. Wan-Bissaka had a massive impact on his career at Crystal Palace. He was like, why are we playing someone else's fucking right back? We've got him here, let's throw him in and see what happens. They tried Wan-Bissaka, Fosu-Mensah never got his place back. Went to Fulham, some talk that he took his eye off the ball. Same at Crystal Palace, he took a camera crew into the dressing room, drew that 40... No, what's it called? 24/7, 40.
Yeah, I know you're on about.
Yeah. He did it in a dressing room after a loss, and somebody quite rightly seen their arse with that, and that's been an issue for Wan-Bissaka. And to be fair, it shows how good he is that United didn't just cut the guy, because that fella Varela, everyone remembers him, brilliant little ball of energy at right back, probably would be fucking playing before we signed Wan-Bissaka because he's infinitely better than Ashley Young. He went and got a tattoo the day before the DFB Pokal Cup final when he was out there for Frankfurt, and Frankfurt like, the fuck are you doing? Like, you got to recover for that for 2 weeks. You can't just fucking get a tattoo the day before a game, you maniac. So they sent him on the spot back to United, and United basically fucked him off back to Uruguay. And he's back at Penarol, I think.
Is it Copenhagen? FC Copenhagen.
Was it? He went to Penarol from United, I think, so he must have come back again into Europe. Do you know why? Because he's a fucking good footballer. But off the field issues have affected what that kid could go on and do, and I fear for the same thing happening with Fosu-Mensah, because he's missed probably 2 years now of that key developmental age. Him and Rashford basically came through into the first team at the same time. One's played 100 and how many fucking games, one's played about a dozen.
I mean,
not enough.
I really was against his loan move to Fulham, because I thought at Palace he'd done reasonably well. I thought he'd shown signs of seeing before at United that he could become a regular right back for us. Obviously it didn't work out at Fulham. I don't think it worked out for many players at Fulham, to be fair. So I think that Fosu-Mensah should have been our first choice right back last season when Antonio Valencia's legs went, and then we sat suffering.
I was surprised when he went on loan both times under Mourinho, because when Mourinho came in, I know he's not a massive fan of young players anyway, but I was going to say you can sort of see him becoming a Mourinho type player. He works his arse off, strong, physical, doesn't back out of a challenge, and I thought Mourinho would really take to it.
Well.
Yeah.
Like, can you remember when Mourinho played Kurt Zuma as defensive midfield against Murray and Fellaini? When they beat us 1-0 with Hazard at Stamford Bridge.
Not off the top of my head, no. Mark could sound a bit closer as well.
The one who Zuma did his ACL?
No, that was at Old Trafford the following season.
The season when Chelsea last won the league under Mourinho, they beat us when De Gea celebrated for Rooney hitting with stanchion.
I celebrated that. I thought it were in.
And I saw a clip of Mourinho saying that it was really important to like combat Fellaini's physicality with Kurt Zuma. And Chelsea had about 30% possession and beat us 1-0 in about 2 shots, which is classic Mourinho Chelsea. But I thought maybe Mourinho would have saw a bit, of the same in Fosu-Mensah with that he can play it. Zuma used to be able to play it right back. He can play centre back. Fossey Mensah's been a right back and a centre back and play defensive mid. So
one of his best performances was at left back as well.
Yeah, he played against Watford, didn't he?
Did he not come on against Arsenal as a left back when we beat him 3-2?
I think it was against Leicester. Can't remember. It was in the 21s at the time. It was prior to them changing it to 23s. I think just before. And he was just left back. He was just fucking immense. There was a game against Leicester. I think we might have put 7 past them in that game. And I think 3 or 4 of the assists came from just Wan-Bissaka just hitting the byline on the right hand side and just whipping across it. And you're just like, what the fuck, man? It was outstanding. It was in the 21s. He was levels above the 21s, which is why wait till you get in the first team, and then he pops into the first team. I think his debut was against Arsenal when Rashford scored those 2 goals. So his debut was literally 3 days after Marcus's, and then he follows that up with that performance against Tottenham. And he also had another couple of games in that the end of that season as well, where he just like
he had an assist against Everton, didn't he? For Marshall's goal, and this is Bobby Charlton stand, but it's a good assist for that.
There's a couple of questions in the comments here. What do I make of Leo O'Connor? Seen him a few times with the Irish underage setup, and he's obviously training with Celtic a few times. Yeah, we let him go with Celtic. I thought he was a very good player. I don't know why we played him at centre half, because he's 5'9", I think, 5'10" maybe. Very Gary Neville, very busy and tenacious right back. Played him at left back a lot as well. I'm not really sure why. Might have been a lack of options there. But very good right back, O'Connor. I was a bit disappointed to see him go, but like sometimes you have to just go, well, not everyone can make it here, and he'd probably go and be great, I imagine, for Celtic. A couple mentioning Dylan Levitt. What do I think about Dylan Levitt? If Dylan can sort out either needs to become really strong, or he needs to improve his speed, I think, because the physicality is not quite there. And when you see the levels of physicality that some midfielders have got, and that's one of the attributes that pulled Tim into the first team. Dylan's got everything except the physicality, and he's not quite got that lateral movement of Angel Gomez either, where you go, fuck it, just try him. But he's got the vision. He's got vision like Paul Scholes. He did a no-look fucking round the corner pass for someone for an assist in the 23s about 2 months ago. And he dictates games. He's got a real nasty side to him. Like, he'll leave a foot in. He's fucking United through and through as well. Like, he fucking loves playing for Manchester United. He's been dragged into the first team set up at Wales, which is huge. I speak to Dylan quite a lot, and I was saying, mate, one fucking training session with Gareth Bale, you're going to fucking ping one of them over the top, land it on his toe, and Giggs is going to be like, right, that's how we're playing on Saturday. And at the time he was in the train-on squad in the summer where Bale hadn't joined, and then he got kept on into the full squad, and Bale did join. And I said, did you manage to get any of them balls over the top? And he was like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I think he made the bench against Croatia for them, didn't he, about a month ago or so. It's coming for him. And you've also got Ethan Galbraith, another really tenacious midfielder, very tidy. Don't really know who I'd compare him to. Possibly a Jack Wilshere, maybe. Someone just a bit of a bite about him, real busy, quite tidy on the ball.
Michael O'Neill's really excited about him.
He's made his debut for Northern Ireland.
When I had a guest speaker session with Michael O'Neill, he was really, really excited about Ethan Galbraith. I think he was a bit gutted that United hadn't carried on our traditional Northern Irish roots so much as we used to with like Norwood and Johnny Evans and that, but he's dead excited.
Well, yeah, isn't half of the Northern Irish team like ex-academy?
Can't keep like that, yeah.
Tons of them, yeah.
Is he still playing?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So like Galbraith is another one, and you think he's probably him and Levitt probably just below, and I'm talking like a sheet of paper below the likes of Garner, who was knocking on the door. The performances he's been putting in the academy have been sensational, and obviously Gomez. Chong's one that I didn't really get the hype from ever. He won back-to-back Player of the Year awards for the 18s and the 23s, and he did so in a total of about 12 games, and he didn't deserve either of those awards. But when you look at his CV, you're like, well, Player of the Year twice. You're a bit like Luke Shaw, where you go, oh, fuck, he won that last year. Chong, I mean, at 20 years of age, you got to think, he's only like 12 months younger than Marcus Rashford, and some of the shit that Marcus gets.
Yeah.
Well, can we hold Chong up to the same standard, please? Because there's no comparing the two. The output that you get from Marcus, the output that you get from Chong, they're the same position. 12 months ago, Marcus was under some scrutiny. The level he was playing at, the level Chong's playing at, there's no comparison with the two. So I think, and Angel's getting into that territory as well now. Angel's 19, I think, now. Angel's going to have to start racking up some games or possibly go on loan somewhere and get those minutes under his belt. These are the key development ages, 18 to 22. You've got to play 100 games somewhere. I don't think it even matters, like, Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount have gone and proved. You're playing the Championship. It doesn't matter. You're playing games. That's where you develop. It's hard to develop at a Premier League club in the Premier League, I think. Some players have done it. If you look at that England squad, the one that went to the World Cup, how many players made their debut at a top Premier League team and stayed at a top Premier League team? There is not many. I think off the top of my head, you're looking at Sterling and Rashford.
Probably Trent.
Kane as well, I think. Oh no, because Kane went on loads, didn't he?
Go to the World Cup, did he?
Yeah, Alexander-Arnold went, I think.
Did he go?
Yeah. I was going to say Kane, but then I remember he had loan spells at Norwich and Leicester, didn't he?
They ain't many. When you start going through and you see where they all came from, there are not many that came through at a top academy and stayed or moved on to another top club. Like, a lot of them either started somewhere top, had to drop down, or they started off lower down and eventually found their way at the top. That's where they've managed to. They've all had to play at a lower level to get games. Harry Maguire's had how many more clubs than fucking Tiger Woods? Jamie Vardy started off, we all know his story, where he started off. You look all the way through, it's very rare that players can come in because the level in the Premier League is so fucking intense and the patience is so fucking little in there at the moment that people don't have the longevity to bring youngsters in. And right or wrong, sometimes they'll just play experienced players because they're experienced fucking players, when actually this 18-year-old's fucking better. So why don't you play it? I think Brandon Williams and that fella are the example of that at the moment. Brandon's going to play against Chelsea on Wednesday, and he's going to have another fucking good performance, I think. Very tough performance, because I think Chelsea will be an excellent test for him. Who's going to be up on the right side? Possibly William, unless they bring in another youngster.
He might play Pulisic on the right. Pulisic can play.
He might like fully rotate and put Pedro on that side as well.
Well, he's got what? So he's got William, Pedro, or Pulisic, probably. Cam, is anyone else on the right hand side you'd expect to see for Chelsea?
Other than Pulisic, Pedro, William.
Yeah, any youngsters that they might throw in?
Not off the top of my head. They could play Billy Gilmore in centre midfield with Mason Mount. That's a youngster.
So those three is who he's looking at, essentially facing off against. Right, he's in for a fucking tough night, isn't it? Or Hudson-Odoi.
Because you've got the technical aspect that Pedro probably brings. You've got the weirdly erratic Williams. Just if he decides that he wants to win, and Pulisic is just direct as anything.
So he's in for a fucking tough all night, no matter how it goes down on Wednesday. So another good performance from Brandon Williams against what will not be a massively rotated side anyway. He'll have a top class international ahead of him, no matter what. If he puts in another good performance, the reasons to play him are fucking not to play him, even, are just disappearing. They don't exist. Let's see if we've got any more comments from the fellas. A couple of people saying, how does Laird compare stylistically to Trent? Trent likes to just fucking wallop a crossing anytime he gets on the ball, doesn't he? I think Ethan likes to take it closer to the box. Apart from that, physically pretty similar. Actually, Laird is jacked. Like, there's a fucking back on him. I think he spent all summer doing deadlifts. We battered you last season, mate.
Who's this?
That fucking helmet in there.
That's just still going. We moved off you. We left you alone. We gave you 10 minutes, and then we just thought, you know what, we'll go and actually talk.
By the way, you mentioned Jack Wilshere then before, just to take the piss out of Arsenal even more. How much were they raving about Jack Wilshere when he came through? And he can't even get a game for West Ham now.
World class player if he fucking slapped him in the chops of his piece.
It's just another one to throw in.
When you look at Arsenal's signings, I mean, Kieran Tierney's been injured, but I think he's a good pick-up.
He'll be alright.
But then you look at some of the others, like David Luiz for 8 million was just...
Who the fuck sanctioned that?
I mean, I can understand for the price, but then
Honestly.
it was like, I want a cheap option, Premier League proven, 8 million, why not? But then you've got to put into the fact that you put in Socrates, Xhaka and Luiz in a triangle, just complete and utter, that's just chaos. And then Pepe's not scoring a goal from open play. For 75 million, and Dan James, who they were taking the mick out of.
They were taking a piss out.
With David Luiz, I think you know, your team that can't defend and hasn't got much composure. So
why would you bring him in?
Defend hasn't got any composure. It's just nonsense.
No one looked at David Luiz and was like, "That's what."
Honest to God, if I was them, and I've only seen him once at Old Trafford, I would rather just throw in Mavropanos or something like that and just say, have a chance.
The worst
like,
one.
Can't do any worse.
I can't remember what it was. There was a game once where David Luiz used to do. I don't know if he still does them. I haven't really watched him much recently because it's David Luiz. You don't really need to. But he used to do these runs where he just would just pelt it up the pitch, and you could just see whoever's at CDM just look at him like, where's he off to?
Gary Neville summed him up brilliantly when he was at Chelsea years ago. He said he's literally just a PlayStation player. He doesn't. That's all he is.
So weird.
Righty, thanks for joining us, lads. Thanks to you guys for joining us. There's going to be a 5 Things We Learned coming out very soon on my channel, so make sure to stay locked for that. There's also the 7 Aside from last week, which, why did you bottle it?
I had a weed spraying course at work.
A what?
Okay. We had a 7 Aside with some of our patrons, which is coming out on the Patreon channel tomorrow. So definitely go and try and check that out if you can. Like I said, 5 Things We Learned, United versus Norwich, is going to be out on my channel in an hour or so, I guess. I think it's nearly done. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to Stretford Paddock. This is where the sensible United fan comes and watches their content, not those fucking raving lunatics. You know the ones. See you in the next one.